G'day everyone, welcome to this week's Life on the Hulls. How was last week, eh? Putting this hardtop on, fair dinkum, it sealed the deal for me. It really gave me the impression of what this boat is going to look like out on the water. And although I'm a long way from the water, certainly getting there, this thing has just totally changed the whole site for me, and really excited. Now, this week I've actually got, Janet and I got to get that mould out of the shed, and that created a few problems because it had been pushed and shoved with the forklift. There was a couple of pinch points, and yeah, I got pretty edgy trying to get it out, and we ended up putting it back up beside the factory there for the next user of this mould set, whoever's going to buy it. Now, it is up for sale at the moment. You can see it on eBay, Australian eBay. It's up on Facebook. It's up there for all to see. Plenty of information there about its actually build and all the stuff I'm going to offer with the build, because I want it out of here so I can get on with the boat. Now, basically, after that, we're going to start to integrate the hardtop into the actual deck. Now, that's a really involved process. It took a bit of time to work out, and it really did make a difference when it went in place. What a day yesterday was. We've got the hardtop on. Very exciting to see that up there. That is the last major part. Big part that I have to make. Thank God. That was almost as hard as the deck. In fact, getting it out wasn't as easy as the deck because I didn't have a crane. But yeah, so what I've got to do today, I've got to move all of these moulds out. So the hardtop mould can now be broken back in two, and Janet's coming up in a moment. We're going to get my rusty, dodgy old crane out, and we're going to get these moulds out of here and store them back up in here. Back up where I store all the production moulds up here. And basically I'm going to get the galley mould out first. That's very important because this area here now is going to turn into a slave labour shop where Janet's going to be working for free, or for ultimately the end result, which is the boat. But we're going to set up all of the additional moulds that I have for the internal linings, hatches, the galley mould is all going to be set up in here. The sugar scoops, we're going to set it all up in this area here, just so that we can sort of get them all polished up and get them ready for production. I'll just take them into my wet room one mould at a time and produce them in my spare time, because I've got a lot to do back down there. But keep all these flat sheets that I fabricated the hardtop with. I'm going to lift them out. I'm going to keep them for a later project. I can use them as a vacuum table, and they are absolutely fantastic, those surfaces. So pretty happy to have saved those without any major damage. So I should be able to use them for things like countertops, the rudder bases, and everything else. Hey honey, it's Sunday. What would you like to do? Would you like to go out for lunch, maybe have a few beers, or move moulds and tidy up the factory? Let's do the moulds. It's more fun. It's a damn sight cheaper. This is how we afford to build the boat. We don't go out at all. We just do this shit. Righto, this is the galley mould. Trying to work out how to get it out without using the crane. So we're going to try a pallet jack, but we've got road base here before we get to concrete. So I don't like our chances, but we're going to give it a crack, aren't we?
Yeah, sorry, I was joking.
Yeah, she's a bit, it's a very good mould, this one. And what we're going to do, we're going to set up the factory so that the apprentice here can polish everything up and get it all ready. I'm going to gel coat them and you're laminating them. One, two, three. Got it. Yep. All right. Right, so we should be able to pull it apart without it collapsing.
Okay.
Well, Oh, there it goes. That's that
It's
end.
not that piece of wood holding it.
Yeah, it could have been, but see that pipe? It's got a pipe in it.
Yeah.
An hour later, a considerable amount of abuse and some pretty freaking extreme work has got it apart. It was a bastard. It was because it was bending, the pipes were pinching, we could not get it apart. I basically just tried everything, cutting it, everything. But anyway, it's apart. So trying to get it out, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. So when you go out, when we get clear, go round to the right. Hang on, hello. You get this little happy look like you've done all this yourself, and I am in the background, everyone, just so you know.
Well, you're well and truly in the foreground.
Janet said I'm well and truly in the foreground because she's a bit angry with me, ain't you, honey? I'm sorry. I know I got cranky, really, really cranky today, wasn't it? I think that's the worst you've ever seen me, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes. We're going to take it on the truck up in there and get rid of it. Got my anchor person. We flipped this over. We saved you the effort of watching that because it got a bit hard, didn't it? The whole day's been hard. Putting the hard top on was the easy bit. This has been the hard bit, but look, we got our factory back. Can't wait. That's going to be Janet's new workspace. Janet's not going back to work for a while, are you?
No, and you know what else?
What?
There's going to be a no entry sign for Ross.
Why is that?
Because you're going on the boat and you're staying there.
Oh yeah, she's not too happy with me today, so I'm a bit hungry too. I've been a bit hungry today, honey. Alright, let's lift this up, see what it does. Alright, let's see what it does. Should lift it, should go forward and up, hopefully. You know what? I need to tighten that one. It's got to go up on an angle, hasn't it? It's like I've never had. Look at that. Perfect. Because we had it up here taking up twice as much room, but we're going to actually sit it in here and clamshell it onto the top so that it'll protect the surface of both of them and sit it on top of this mould, protect the surface, and then whoever comes and buys the mould can just take them one at a time or take them both at once. We don't really care. But we're going to back it in now. Janet will place it in place and we'll lower it down. That'll be it for the day, and then we can come back and clean up the shed. Can't wait.
So every week can't be a major milestone, guys. I know my videos are that exciting, but moving moulds around is what Janet and I do, and we do it well, and I won't have anyone diss my crane. That thing has been more useful than anything I own.
Right, that's it. It's in place. And that's that part done for the day. So all these moulds here are all done. I'm pretty much finished everything. The only thing I've got to do really is the kitchen and the sugar scoops. So the galley is over there. And the sugar scoops are down on the boat, but I'm gonna have to modify the back end before I do that. Got some space back. Oh, seriously, I'm very fortunate that I've got this space. I mean, this space is about 150 square meters, so it's big enough for everything I needed to do for this boat, except for make the boat. If I was ever doing it again, I'd get a factory twice as wide as the boat. That's what you need. If you're gonna do it in a tent, you're going to struggle with all the logistics and creating a lot of issues with just fitment and lifting things in, and it makes you think your logistics through very carefully, like we've had to do today. But Janet and I are going over for lunch. We're going to come back and have another reset in here, which is really nice. So we've got the Galley Mould out. It's one of the last big pieces, only really this and the sugar scoops, and then there's a couple of other small parts, some hatches, roof linings for the port head to do, and that's pretty much all the fiberglassing apart from the extensions that I've got going on, so it's still a shitload to do. But this here, I'm going to give it a bit of a pressure wash. Once it's dried, I'm going to move it into the factory, and Janet's going to come in and do the restoration on it. She's very good with the hand restoration of these moulds. It's about a day's work just to restore a mould. Now that has been sitting here for 4 years in the sun. It's had people walking on it. It's been treated a bit brutally, so it'll be interesting to see how she can bring this up and get a good product off it. And considering that it's the Galley, I think Janet really wants that to be the showpiece or the centerpiece of that saloon that we have. So let's give it a clean up. It is possibly going to have some modifications done to it to make it a little bit more modern, because it is a bit of a rounded shape, and you know, we want to try to get as much cabinet space in it as possible, obviously for storage and for sensible use. The original one, like I'll show you now, actually had this beautiful sort of glass cabinet in the front of it, and not really appropriate for us. We're not after a luxury sort of look, we're after more a functional galley rather than a luxury look. But yeah, we'll see how that works out. Let's get the mould all done. We'll get it into the factory, get it restored, and then I can just come in and gel coat it. We can get into the laminating. What do you think about all this? Hey, what do you think? Noisy, isn't it? Hey? Gonna get this last mould out of here, this butterfly stair mould for the last time. Take it back out. Taking over my job. Oh, it's been a big day. Big day. I'm going to cut out this Helm Station roof, and I've decided not to cut it out square. I actually made it square, and I think it probably might need a little bit of softening just to make it look a bit more the lines of the boat. If I do a square or a right angle cutout, it could look a bit ordinary. So what I'll do is I'll just put a radius in here, and then it may require a little bit of softening here with a plinth or something along here. It depends on how I decide to work our winches and the likes, but I'll get a grinder and I'll cut this out and leave a radius in the corners, and that should be a good start towards getting towards this sort of effect. Alright, I've sort of rounded the corners. It's not going to be the final shape, but it's going to give me the opening that I'm after. It's likely to get rid of this section too. I'm likely to have this totally open, but at this stage I'm just going to cut it out so I've got the opening, so I can start to think about how I'm going to do the actual helm module. That's going to be a bit of work in progress. It'll probably take a few months to sort that out while I get on with other jobs, but for now I'll get up there and grind this line out. And I'll keep this flat sheet. It's actually good to lay up on this sort of a flat sheet. What do you reckon? It's strange, isn't it? Really? All this bloody hard work and then cut it out. Oh yeah. Actually, you know what's good is you're never going to hit your head.
Which we will.
Yeah, but likely where I've cut it, I've got a little bit more room, but if you walk naturally up, oh, that's fantastic, actually. And the seat will be here. The seat will be like here. Wow. You gotta check that out. Just don't step in the middle of it, step towards the back. That's it. That's much better, isn't it? Don't you reckon? That's giving you good height.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you don't need to see the nose. I was looking at some of the other ones we were on.
And I can.
You'll be able to see the pulpits as well on the front.
Yeah. Okay, so now we've got the hardtop out of the shed. We've got room to do all the smaller moulds and for the hatches and the kitchen and the stairs, etc. So what I'm going to be doing this morning, or today, I'm hoping this morning, but I think it might take a bit longer, is actually clean all the gunk off them and polish them up ready for Ross to gel coat. And then I get the lucky job of fiberglassing. But I'm actually really looking forward to this, because it's something I can do in the dry, on my own, listening to music, so I'm going to really enjoy that. So my first ones are these, so let's see how successful I am, because this one is really got ingrained dirt from being outside. This one's not so bad. But these are the two I'm going to start with, as Ross put it, so I can learn on them. and then I'll go to the bigger pieces. This is one of the hatches, for the front hatches, right?
And how many of them do we need?
I can't remember, is it 5?
5.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then this one is the inside, so it's actually, when you look inside, that provides the nice white edge on the hatches on the inside of the...
Yeah, so it's the internal trim of the hatches, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we have to make 4 of those.
Can't help himself, can you?
Sorry. Just trying to move it on a bit.
Right. Make sure I get it right. Move it on.
I'll edit it, don't you worry. So we need 4 of those little ones, but then what have we got to do? What's the process though?
What's the process? Well, I'm going to clean it.
No, for me, because we've got to actually make 4 of those, and then we've got to make an extra one that we then make a new mould for the bigger hatches, because I don't have trim for the larger ones.
I've been married for 30 years, but I still can't read Ross's mind.
Oh, watch it. And then what have we got here? Come back here.
Oh, gosh.
Righto.
These are the front hatches that I was in the other day.
Yeah, the coffins, the crew quarters,
Yeah.
the crew cabin hatch.
So, this brings back some really dodgy memories. So Ross was looking at this for about 2 hours. He could not figure out whether he needed it, what it was for, because it wasn't labelled. And it was against that wall, and I walked in, and I just guessed a different set of eyes, because I won't bag him out. I just said, that's for the freezer, isn't it? And that's exactly what it's for. So that's to provide the insulation on the roof of the freezer lid, inside the freezer lid, to provide some insulation within the freezer.
Cool.
Right.
So I thought I was going to have to somehow fabricate an internal lining for the freezer, but we found this.
Yeah.
And Janet knew what it was.
Yeah.
God knows how, because I couldn't work out what it was. How'd they clean up?
Well, these come up good, and the farm one's good. I've got to polish them yet.
Yep.
I'll sand them. But the white one I've still got to do.
Brilliant. All right, so we've got the forward hatch. Yeah, that mould actually looks really good. We do have a second mould for that hatch, which is here. We're not convinced it's not a remake. The one that we have over there isn't a remake of this one, because this one's got a fair amount of damage around the top of it, but we'll soon see. We'll make one, and then if we have to do this one, we have to. But yeah, that's looking great, Jan. Cool. And then over here, our hatch, yeah, it is a bit grubby, isn't it? Actually, there's a... Yeah, no, it looks good. That'll come up fine. I reckon once we buff it, it'll come up nice. Oh, I think we need to do a bit more.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Yeah, we want it clean. What's this stain here? I'll have to try and get that out.
But this was like that. So
We might give it a scrub with a toothbrush and metal or something, maybe that
well,
might be
maybe
the
I'll
go.
bring an old toothbrush back and try and get that in there, because this was like that, and I've got this to lift, but I can't.
Yeah, okay.